The art style of the Persona series appealed to me. Perhaps that is because I enjoy watching Japanese anime. In 2017, I played Persona 5 and I loved it. Everything from the animation, the gameplay, the soundtrack, and the characters. Persona 5 became one of my favorite video games of all time. It is the only Persona game I have ever played. I heard many people describing Persona 3 as their personal favorite, presumably the darkest entry in the series. When a remake was announced, I was definitely on board to try it out. After spending a good month playing since its release, I have put together a video of my opinions on the game so far. So let's turn the clocks to the dark hour and dive into my review of Persona 3 Reload. Warning: this video may contain sensitive and disturbing content. The Persona series is described as a Japanese role-playing game. You do not need to have played any of the past Persona games from the beginning to get into the series. Although there are familiar lore and gameplay components, every Persona game is distinctively unique in its storytelling and cast of characters. In Persona 3 Reload, you as the player make choices in this game. By day, you attend class, join social clubs, take up a part-time job, or study at home. Just a typical day of a teenage high school student. By night, when the clock strikes 12, the dark hour happens. Shadows appear, and the only ones to combat them are Persona users. Personas are described as physical manifestations of an inner spirit, or simply put, the power of one's soul. Players controlling the protagonist discover their ability to wield a persona power and join the Specialized Extracurricular Execution Squad, or Cs for short, to eliminate shadows. The members that form Cs each have a unique personality demonstrated in their personas. I want to apologize in advance for mispronouncing any names. Yukari Takaba is the beautiful, popular archer. Junpei Iori is described as the class clown. Mitsuri Kiryoji is the elegant student council president. Akihiko Sanada is the mature, confident boxer. Fuka Yamagishi is the meek, intelligent girl. Ken Amada is the youngest member of Cs. Agaius is a human-like android. Shenjiro Aragaki is a former member of Cs with a dark past. And Koromaru is a stray dog who can also summon a persona. He is the most adorable and loyal member of the group, without a doubt. Other key characters include Shuji Ikutsuki, the advisor for Cs, who does not have a persona. Igor, the Velvet Room president, assisting the protagonist on their journey, and his assistant Elizabeth. The Velvet Room is a secret room only the protagonist has access to. As the protagonist levels up, more persona powers can be upgraded, resulting in combat benefits. Interacting with characters also contributes to the persona's powers and improving abilities, which I'll explain more of these later in gameplay. The primary villains are the shadows Cs combat against. Shadows grasp onto their victims, leaving them feeling depressed or displaying symptoms of apathy syndrome. Shadows come in all shapes and sizes. Every shadow has a different strength and weakness. Other villains include additional persona users forming a group called Strega, assassinating names published on a revenge website. Without spoiling too much, they cause problems for C's, clashing ideologies on the purpose of using persona powers. What I love about the Persona series is the relationships between characters. During story progression, players have the option to interact with as many different characters through selective conversations. These may branch into storylines exploring sensitive and often darker content. Themes such as bullying, abuse, and self-harm are among many explored in Persona 3 Reload. It is ambitious for developer Atlas to take on these themes. As now an adult player, I think it should be applauded that these themes are touched on in the medium of video games. They had heightened my participation to engage in these important conversations. Other themes also explored include divorce, drug abuse, and mental health. Each of them can be confronting to witness, but eye-opening at the same time. Approach them with some caution. Many of them made my jaw drop, and others brought tears to my eyes. It is all thanks to the terrific performances of the actors and brilliant writing, appropriately integrating these storylines into the main story. It enriches the characters individually, as well as bonding C's together and creating a second family between them.
Wow! When it comes to being considerate of others, you're a heavyweight. Glad to have you in our corner, Senpai.
There he goes again. These sure look good, though. Thanks for sharing, Sonata-senpai.
Persona 3 Reload takes place in the fictional Japanese city of Tatsumi, Port Island. It is structured like Odabai, an artificial island off the coast of Tokyo. Although it does not replicate any real-life location in Japan compared to Persona 5's Tokyo settings, there are similar features that make up the world of Persona 3 Reload, making it feel like a real place to live in. There are cafes, gaming arcades, a shrine, and signage written in Japanese. There is also French intertwined in this game. Some characters speak with a French accent. French phrases pop up, and locations are named after French streets.
Trey Ben? Is that French or something? Why are they talking in different languages anyway?
Gekkoukan High School is a beautifully structured building situated by Port Island Station. Here, the protagonist attends class, where players can answer questions to boost popularity and knowledge. After every school day, players can also explore the many rooms, such as the art studio, the faculty office, and the library. There are opportunities to join social clubs, including the student council and the track and field team. Tatsumi Port Island has 2 shopping malls. Polonia Mall has a cafe, a karaoke bar, an antique store, a nightclub, a gaming arcade, a pharmacy, and a police station. Here, the protagonist can take up a part-time job to earn extra money, purchase items such as medicine and weapons for combat, or dine to boost social stats, which I'll explain a little bit later in gameplay. Awatadaya Station Mall has additional restaurants, a bookstore, and an internet cafe. There, players can purchase IT products to to improve their dorm computers for online gameplay or additional studying to support social stats. With this many locations, quick travel is available via the town map option in the main menu. The town map reveals details such as key spots and symbols representing opportunities to build relationships. I note that some locations are only accessible depending on the time of day. For example, the club at Paolonia Mall is only open at night. The Iwatadaya dorm becomes the home for the protagonist. It is where all the members of C's also reside. Players can spend time with C's members and build stronger relationships with them. From watching a movie, to cooking meals, from studying, to walking Koromaru. Players will have many opportunities to engage with their teammates for social and combat benefits. Even romantic relationships can be developed. Again, it is up to the player to decide who they wish to spend time with. The Iwatadaya dorm also becomes the secret base for C's, where observations of the dark hour occur, providing access to Tartarus. Tartarus is a multi-dimensional labyrinth that only appears during the dark hour, the 25th hour. Here, shadows reside and treasures can be found. In total, there are 250 floors. As players ascend, every floor increases in difficulty. Higher leveled and multiple shadows appear to fight. The approach to entering Tartarus is up to the player, ideally before a full moon, when a challenging shadow to battle emerges. Beforehand, it is best to be well prepared by leveling up, equipping better weapons and armor, and gaining as much experience fighting. There are blocked sections where players cannot progress further. They are only unlocked by story progression. In my playthrough, I like to reach as far to the block path as soon as possible. This opens up free time in the evening to do other activities, like going to the club or spending quality time with friends. In saying that, social activities contribute to combat outcomes. It is still up to the player how time wants to be spent. Only one activity can be done during the day and one at night. Time is a key theme in Persona 3 Reload. It is seen by clocks spotted throughout Tartarus that restores health and skill points. The dark hour strikes at midnight, and as mentioned earlier, time must be spent wisely during gameplay. Every decision the player makes is important, from deciding whether to spend the afternoon studying in the library, working a part-time job, eating at a restaurant, or playing an arcade game. Activities contribute to social stats. These are courage, charm, and academics. Certain levels of stats determine the ability to build other relationships or open up more storylines. For example, the protagonist must be charismatic to begin a romantic relationship with Tagaba, or entering the underground club does require a courage level of 2. There is a lot of terminology to consume when playing a Persona game, which can be overwhelming for first-time players. Tutorials can take up the first 2 to 3 hours of gameplay, but do not stress. Thankfully, the gameplay instructions are delivered so eloquently within the story that it does not feel like a tutorial session. There is a dictionary easily accessible in the main menu, defining relevant concepts that can be referred back over to at any time. Players will get the ease of the game the more you play. The story and characters, in my opinion, are so captivating that I am keen to find out what happens next, which keeps me playing. My advice: take each day at a time. The severe consequence, in my view, is being underprepared in combat and losing in battle. Persona users have an evolver, a gun-like weapon to summon their persona. Every C's member has a different persona, each with different magical ability. For example, Takaba uses wind magic via her archery skills, and Sanada can conduct electricity through his boxing gloves. Just like their combative shadows, each of them has their strengths and weaknesses. As the protagonist, soon elected as leader, you as the player have the option to choose who to have on your team following every entry into Tartarus. You can change team members depending on what would work best in your situation. I recommend changing your team as often as you can. It not only makes for a variety of attacks, but initiates different conversations between characters. Players as the protagonist also possess a unique ability to use more than one persona. Personas are simply described as the subconscious of the person's psyche to combat shadows. In Persona 3 Reload, the personas are designed after figures in Greco-Roman mythology. Each of them specializes in either physical or magical attacks. As the player, it is up to you to also decide which ones to use. Because the protagonist does have the ability to use multiple personas, a process to fuse them can also create stronger ones. They come to whether the social links players build with characters determine the level, power benefits, or ability to unlock special personas. Equipment also contributes to combat performance. There are weapons, armor, footwear, and accessories. The police officer Apollonia Mall offers players a variety of equipment. This equipment affects the stats of combat performance, like increasing agility or health points. Visiting him on Monday afternoons guarantees discounted prices. Treasures found in Tartarus can also be sold to make quick, easy money. Other treasures found include combat items such as magical gems. There may be situations your persona does not have a strengthening ability. Using these gems can come into play here. While there is combat, I have touched on activities players can do that can be beneficial. Outside battle, interacting with characters makes up social links. This is a system where each independent character ties in with a persona arcana. Spending time with a character raises their rank in the social link, resulting in an upgrade in persona ability. Some examples include Maiko, a runaway girl distressed over her parents' divorce. She is the social link for the Hanged Man Arcana. Bebe, a French exchange student, is the social link for the Temperance Arcana. And Yuko Nishiwaki, a tomboy manager of the sports team, is the social link for the Strength Arcana. There are a total of 22 social links to unlock, but gathered how limited time can be spent per day, and even though some links are only available on specific days, one playthrough will not guarantee to unlock all of them. This makes Persona 3 Reload a replayable game. Persona 3 was originally released in 2006, and in this age of remaking games, there are visual differences in this remake's presentation. Looking at comparison videos, Persona 3 Reload does look better on the PlayStation 5. Controller mechanics are straightforward once the player passes the tutorial phases. A lot of the time, it is about responding to the characters. Moving around the city and Tartarus was smooth and easy. I never played the original game, but in comparison to Persona 5, it almost feels like I am playing a familiar game. The Persona series is also well known for its soundtrack. I love the music in Persona 5, and it is not surprising that I have thoroughly enjoyed the music in Persona 3 Reload. Using tracks from the original, Shoiji Meguro mixes rap, lo-fi, and rock sounds. Atsushi Kitojai provided the vocals, along with Azumi Takahashi and rapper Lotus Juice. I apologize for mispronouncing names again. Every location has its themes, so the music would have to be good and catchy if players had to hear them all the time. Thankfully, every song was pleasant to listen to. Combat was not any different either. Fun, exciting, and energized the mood in battle. I touched on this in my Final Fantasy video. When it comes to Japanese role-playing games, I prefer Japanese dubbing. As far as I know, the Japanese voice cast reprised their roles from the original version. Regarding the Persona series, I fell in love with the English voice cast in Persona 5. It sounded like I was listening to a well-performed English adaptation of an anime. I listened to both dubs and preferred the English voice acting. Either way, the sound mixing is one of my favorite components of Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah, we've been through so much over the last half year or so. Don't you think? Honestly though, you always seemed exhausted.
Hey, it was way better than just doing nothing, right? Besides, we made some new friends.
Yes, that's true.
Not a single thing we've done has been for nothing. It's been 2.5 years since I got this power. And it's been worth it.
Sanada-san.
Don't forget, we got to meet Koro-chan too.
As of recording, I have played 50 hours of Persona 3 Reload, and I have yet to reach its ultimate conclusion. I still have more story to finish, and I am excited to see it through to the end. The choices I have made this time, I know I missed out on others. I may end up replaying the game later in the future. From what I have played so far, I have thoroughly enjoyed Persona 3 Reload. The dark themes are explored through smooth gameplay, heartwarming interactions, and a cool soundtrack. Despite its slow tutorial-heavy start, the story and characters are what hooked me. I am beginning to understand why Persona 3 was so beloved by fans. Developer Atlus should be applauded for remaking this game for modern audiences. It has proven to be a good start for me in video games this year. Persona 3 Reload is now available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. And that is my review of Persona 3 Reload. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please check out my channel for more. If you had played Persona 3 Reload, what do you think of the game? Feel free to comment below. Before I conclude, I do want to share this. If you ever feel sad or lost, please know that you are not alone. There is help out there. There are people out there who are willing to listen and willing to help you. Offer someone a hand, or even give a smile. Something small can go a long way. Ask a friend, or ask your loved one if they are okay. Reach out. It is okay to ask for help. Everyone deserves to be loved. Everyone deserves to have a happy life. I want to wish everyone well. I will continue to deliver more videos to hopefully entertain and in some way comfort you. Thank you all again for watching. This is Pearl, signing out.